Good morning, everyone. It's the Todd and Erin Morning stream on GephartDaily.com.
Nice. That was smooth this time.
Not really.
You're kind of getting into a flow now. Our
No.
second week of the morning stream.
Still asleep.
It's
That's
kind of
why.
smooth.
Yeah.
It looked good. Okay, well, the legislature is done. Utah State Legislature last night. They worked till midnight, ladies and gentlemen.
Hard
Midnight.
workers, so they can sneak bills through.
Oh, that's just
Like
one man's opinion.
Conspiracy theory,
We
sorry.
don't know, but there were kind of a lot of surprising ones that popped up right at the end. They did criminalize polygamy again, which surprisingly had been uncriminalized and now is criminalized again.
So that maybe they're going to enforce it.
Well, one of the things that they were really looking for, I think, on this one is they said if child abuse is tied to the polygamy, then basically the penalties are much harsher. And so that's kind of interesting. A lot of criminal reform, simple drug possession turns to a misdemeanor versus a felony.
Right.
There's certain ones that are interesting, that are drug related, that actually are more mild. Then there's some with alcohol that are much more severe, like we were at 0.05 now here in Utah for a DUI. So
It's been national news, by the way, around the country that
Really?
we've done that, yeah.
what about the Zion Moat?
Zion mode is just the distance between the bar and the first dining table. So that's the mode. A lot
So
more.
it's a pleasing space between you and the alcohol.
Orrin Hatch.
Okay. He's running.
He's running again.
Again, I know this shocks you. 8th term. So let's see, 4 times 8 is 48? No, that can't be right.
We're looking at a dyslexic. I
know,
don't add.
36. 16, 42.
Now, if it was,
42 years.
it was division,
That's great.
I couldn't do that
It
either.
took me that long. Okay, 42 years in the
42
Senate.
years.
He's turning 83 this year. So half of his life has been spent in the Senate. And he says he's running again for the 8th time because he said that President Trump had told him that he needed him. And so that's why he's going to be there. He's going to be there for Donald.
I've got a question. The question is, why? Now, politically, I'm not saying that, but you're 82. What about retirement? What about taking up a hobby, fishing, whittling, perhaps landscaping, flowers, gardens? The AARP has sessions where you can, socialize with it.
You know, there's complimentary cookies in the Senate lounge, right?
Nice.
I'm sorry, I would never
not
give up.
yeah.
I'd never give up the catering. I've got to be honest with you. The lawmaking part is really cool, but the catering. They have free massage therapy.
Speaking of political, Bill Gephardt sat down yesterday with Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox.
Now this kid is, he's not a kid, but when you see this interview, he's extremely
Compared to
young.
Orrin Hatch, he's a baby.
And he's really interesting. He actually drives 200 miles a day. Back and forth. He lives out like by Sanpete, and he actually took a huge pay cut from his other job to become lieutenant governor. But he
Not too smart.
He sounds really kind of awesome. So anyway, have a look at the interview.
Well, let's talk about the legislature a little bit. You can't talk about the legislature in Utah coming to an end or a beginning without talking about vices. And so let's talk about alcohol, where we're lowering the legal limit to 0.5. Thoughts?
Well, this is one that we didn't see coming, until the session came around. This idea kind of got floated out there. The bill's made its way through. We're still evaluating the research on this one. The interesting thing is, and I don't think this has been reported much, but the effective date of this bill is not until the end of 2018. So it actually doesn't go into effect until the end of next year. So I think we have a little time to continue to look at the research, try to understand the unintended consequences of this. Lots of reports, lots of other countries, European countries and others where the limit is 0.05, but this would be the first in the United States. And so we're wary. We're told that this won't result in more DUIs, but in less drunk driving. We want to make sure that that's the case, that it's more of a mindset change, because when cops are pulling people over, they're looking for impairment first. And so you don't get pulled over 3.08, you get pulled over because you're weaving in and out of traffic, and then you take a breathalyzer test and see where you are there. So, and you don't really need the 0.08 to prove impairment either. And so we're going to take all this data in, look at it. I suspect the governor will sign it, but we'll be evaluating it over the course of the next year before it actually gets implemented to make sure it's the right thing.
Well, the scary part, I guess, and maybe one of the reasons you're wary, I understand everything you said, but some people at a certain weight or people who don't drink a lot, one beer would put them over the legal limit.
That's correct. And again, the sponsor will tell you that that's what they're hoping to do is they want to change that mindset to just don't drink and drive. If you're going to drink even one, make sure you have another way to get home. Make sure you have other transportation. The good news is that transportation is a little easier to get than it used to be with the proliferation of Uber and other Lyft and
Okay.
others like that. But it is a concern, and another concern is we want to make sure that it doesn't hurt tourism or impact the state in other ways, and that's, I think, something we need to think through.
Marijuana and medical marijuana, another controversial area, and we're going to study the effects of marijuana, I guess, and hasn't that pretty well been studied?
Well, no, it hasn't, and specifically on the medical marijuana side, there are no common standards. There are no real. There is some research. There's no question about that. But because marijuana is an illegal substance, and because the federal government has never changed the rating on that, it's impossible for our universities to do the studies that give us and give the legislature the peace of mind. And so the concept is, we think that this is a way to get the University of Utah and others to do some research here to come up with a common set of standards. Important piece of this bill is that there will be an independent board that will make recommendations to the legislature on this. And so I mean, and the good news for those of us like me who believe in medical marijuana and think we need to do something is that
Yes.
we're trying to take the politics out of this, and I think that's gotten in the way over the last couple of years.
Let me change the subject a little bit to something that is a frustration to lots of Utahns, me included, and I'll bet you too, and that's clean air. We seem to be frustrated that we can't make any solid stride, just incremental stuff. What are your thoughts on that with regard to the legislature?
We have an opportunity here to incentivize the transition to Tier 3 gasoline in our refineries, which every scientist will tell you, every clean air advocate will tell you, is the biggest step to helping our clean air here in the state of Utah. So we're excited about that. We think that's going to make a big difference.
You sound like a moderate on all these things.
Well,
would that be a fair assessment?
I like to think I'm a little more practical when it comes to these things, and that even differing minds can find common ground on some of the biggest issues that we're facing. And that's the difference between Utah and what's happening in Congress right now. We can work together, we can find solutions, and we've proven that over the last several years.
All right, let's talk about Donald Trump. What do you think of Donald Trump so far?
Well, it's been interesting.
We voted for him here.
We did not. Some people did, and more people voted for him than the other candidates here in the state of Utah. But again, by usual standards, he performed far worse than Republicans, conservatives in the past in the state of Utah. And so I think there's some good things that have happened. I think, for example, his Supreme Court pick, the home run. I'm a big fan. Been for a long time of Justice Gorsuch in the 10th Circuit. That's our circuit. So somebody we know very well and appreciate.
Real quick, are you going to run for governor?
Am I going to run for governor? Well, it's far too early to make that decision. As you know, as most people know, I didn't run for lieutenant governor. This is something that came out of nowhere, something that was unexpected to me. I have a really great life outside of politics. It was a big sacrifice for my family. I still live in rural Utah. I commute 200 miles round trip every day. It's not easy, and I took a huge pay cut to do this, but I'm happy to do it, and I'm lucky. I get to give back, and the people of the state of Utah are amazing. I will say this: my wife and I, we've been asked about it a lot. When the time's right, we'll sit down, we'll talk about it, we'll make a decision. I don't need this for me, and I'm happy not being in politics, but I also enjoy what I do, and I feel very grateful for the opportunity that I've been given.
Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox, we will talk again. Thank you kindly for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You know, I just realized that Lieutenant Governor could be Orrin Hatch's great-great-grandson.
Wow, that puts it all into perspective.
Because the age.
That
never
puts it
mind.
all into perspective.
I don't know if you share the frustration that we have had New York Animal Park, the giraffe.
Poor
right?
April. And I mean, the pressure on her, though, with millions of people watching her. And
15 months.
Feeling the anxiety, this poor giraffe. And, to make matters worse,
what?
The mama giraffe at the Denver Zoo quietly gave birth yesterday,
Yeah,
which is so
here's the
upsetting.
one I'm counting on
but
right
this
here.
is our personal favorite.
Yeah.
This is Erin Dietrich. She was obsessed with April, and some friends were mocking her because she was pregnant too, so she went and ordered a giraffe head off Amazon.com.
This is where my money's on this woman.
And this is pretty much where she made millions of new friends. However, we do have a blessed event.
Good news.
April hasn't done anything, but Erin gave birth.
How about this?
She put up a great post that says, "He's here. He's perfect, healthy, and just beautiful. Our sweet porter arrived at 6:11 p.m. tonight."
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, and yet she's still wearing it. And if you look really closely at where her hands are doing the peace sign, there's a little baby stuffed giraffe.
That's
so
what the
epic.
Giraffe needs to, the real one needs to watch that.
I know, is that not epic or
Needs
what?
to watch that. I was talking to a friend, and they live in South Jordan, and they don't want to come downtown. We wanted to have dinner and stuff. We had to drive because they don't like paying parking.
It's like $1.
How much is it when you park, like on the street? Because we used to work downtown.
Well, I think it just depends on how long, but usually 2 hours is what, a couple of dollars?
2 or 4.
Yeah.
And then we went and looked at some of the lots. In the bottom of the building, it was $100 a month, which is a lot of money.
It's $1,200 a year if you're not
Open
planning on
lots
it.
across the way, like near squatters.
Those were 75.
75.
Yeah.
But around the country, things are a little different.
What are we whining for?
Oh my gosh! So basically, Boston is $34 a day, which is $438 a month.
$34 a day.
What's our car payment?
Ours is about $400.
Okay, so we double up our.
Yeah, we couldn't even afford to drive the car. We wouldn't have the car to drive.
San Francisco, $26 a day, $375 a month.
Doesn't
Philadelphia, $304.
Really? I would not expect it to be that high there.
Seattle, $289. That's for a lot.
Okay.
London, you can't see this, $1,084
a month.
A month.
That's London. I would believe that. When you get into downtown London, it's.
To pay that, you'd have to drive such a crappy car. Seriously, to make it work. Hong Kong is $745.
Not surprising there.
In New York City. In New York City, they are doing, one of these places is up for sale. And they're asking.
One of the sacred parking spots?
That spot right there.
Now, this is a very desirable parking spot. It's downtown Manhattan.
Remove that car. Mm-hmm. Put your car in there. Mm-hmm. And pay the bill of $300,000.
I beg your pardon?
$300,000. And here's the kicker. You still have to pay $240 a month.
See, the $300,000 is just to buy the parking spot for a year, and then there is a maintenance fee of $240 a month
because your car's sitting there.
Because you got to sweep it sometimes.
It's a great story, and that's how expensive property is in New York.
$300,000 for parking space.
There's this little corner gas station in New York, right? It's in Manhattan, and he is surrounded by towering buildings. The latest offer he's been given on this property for the gas station is $40 million. And he turns it down because he said, what about my loyal customers? How will they get gas? Because there's no other gas stations.
That is, that's a very good point. There's not a lot of Shells in downtown Manhattan. That's amazing. No, but it's sweet.
Idiot. $40 million?
What do you care? That's very nice.
Yeah.
You're a horrible person.
No, I'm not.
I think he's
beautiful. $40 million. He could pay all his clients like a couple million so they can go get gas someplace else.
Whatever. All right, we got to go to Daisy in the Gephardt Daily newsroom. Delightful, Daisy, what's going on today?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. Here's what's making news this Friday morning on GephartDaily.com. A high-profile vehicle burglary suspect has been busted after leading police on a high-speed chase early Friday morning. Both Unified and Cottonwood Heights Police had been looking for the man who they said broke into numerous cars and trucks. Police spotted the man sleeping in a stolen pickup truck in the Smith store parking lot at 845 East, 4500 South. Officers put spikes around the truck, then ordered the suspect to come out. Instead of complying, he threw the truck in reverse, smashing into a police car before speeding off. The chase ended in Murray after the suspect spun out and bailed from the truck. He was captured later, hiding beneath a car. And a report of arson and shots fired at a West Valley City apartment complex had police scrambling overnight. Officers arrived at the Redwood Apartments just before 1 a.m. and found smoke and flames pouring from one of the units. Firefighters knocked down the flames and an occupant was arrested for intentionally starting the fire. Police say the report of gunshots turned out to be bogus. At least 12 apartments had to be evacuated. There were no reports of injuries. And police in West Valley City say an abandoned home went up in flames earlier in the day. The fire at 3001 West, 2995 South was reported about 9 a.m. and could be seen for miles. Investigators say it appears vagrants or juveniles likely started the blaze. And a note from the world of politics, where 82-year-old Orrin Hatch announced a plan to run for an 8th term in the U.S. Senate. Hatch made the announcement in an interview with CNN. He says he decided to run after being encouraged to do so by that spry 70-year-old Donald Trump. And now a quick look at weather. The temperature right now is 45 degrees along the Wasatch Front. Highs this weekend expected to hit the 60s, and by Tuesday, temps will be downright tropical at a balmy 70 degrees. Time for the grass skirts and ukulele. Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, Daisy. All right, I was just thinking about this. We only have like a 2 weeks difference between St. Patrick's Day, which is this next upcoming week, and Easter.
Oh.
So that's
perfect.
like a lot of hostess gifts. That's a lot of pressure of what am I going to bring, because I don't really want to actually cook or have effort. This is where nothing bundt cakes come in. This is my secret weapon, because once you put out this beautiful bundt cake, cream cheese frosting and amazing flavors like pecan praline and cinnamon swirl and chocolate chip, and then you have like flowers on it or bows or whatever, it's perfect. You don't have to do anything else. So it's a very simple process. You don't bake, you don't make effort. April does all the work at Nothing Bundt Cakes, 10389 South State Street in Sandy, just across from Southtown Mall. And even, this is the best part, she delivers. She delivers all up and down the Wasatch Front.
All right, that sounds delicious.
Well, I was thinking about this. Speaking of St. Patrick's Day, we haven't talked about how we want to celebrate yet. And then I found out the young Dubliners are in town tonight.
Tonight at the Depot?
Yeah, if you've never heard these guys, they're not really so young anymore. They're 20 years along in this band, but they're absolutely amazing. And we had a chance to catch up with them last summer at the Utah Arts Festival.
Check it out.
Now get ready to rock with the hardest working Celtic rock band in the business, the Young Dubliners!
We moved out to America in the early 90s and formed a band of Irish and Americans together. You never really know if it's going to be something you'll end up doing. You do it because you love it, and if you get lucky, it turns into a job. Started off just playing in LA and Santa Monica. We've opened for a lot of people. We've opened for Jethro Tull many years, Collective Soul, Johnny Lang, Tom Hyatt, a lot of great bands. Not everybody will let us open for them because we tend to be a little too energetic or enthusiastic maybe. Any way of expressing yourself, I think, is really considered art. What we do, our songwriting, is you're trying to write something that will maybe, hit somebody somewhere. Maybe they'll get the exact meaning you had. Maybe they'll interpret it another way. But for us, we hear a lot that people might arrive to our show in a bad place and end up leaving it in a better place, and that's important to us. love Salt Lake. It's been great to us, and to be the ones playing at the free night, it's sort of a way for us to give back to all the people who bought tickets for us over the years.
Oh man, do you think we can get a babysitter like in the next 5 minutes? I really want to go see them tonight.
I know.
They're amazing.
Cool.
You know, if you're on Facebook Live with us, number one, good morning. But it's funny, Marianne Gallego said that I used to go to the Scottish Festival every year with my husband. She said, I love these guys, and Wicked Tinker is good too. So, you Celtic rock, Wicked Tinker. Wicked Tinker. What's wrong with you? You know this band?
Someplace in the world, that's a swear. You know what it's time for?
Tell me something good.
Tell me something good. Now, if you haven't heard these stories before, they start out horribly. This is the same way. Stick with me. All right, this is in the Lorenzo Valley in the Boulder Creek in California.
Okay.
On February 24th, here's the bad part. This couple, their dog, Sage, evidently got left outside. Everybody else thought they had brought the dog in, right?
Oh, no.
So it's the wettest, coldest. There he is, the beautiful dog.
Little guy.
Did I mention he's blind?
No. Oh, no. Oh, Sage.
And he goes,
Are you sure this ends happily? Because right now I'm really getting stressed.
Stay with me.
Okay.
And so basically, he went wandering off. They had a search going for him for over a week. 7 days had passed. This guy was a retired EMT. Walking up through the foothills, just on a hike, because he didn't even know about the search, and he looks down and he sees what he thought was a plastic bag, a white plastic bag. He got closer, the dog was immersed in the water, and its snout was just sticking up out of the water, and he said, I'm just going to take the body down. And
oh my gosh.
The dog woke up, and there he is climbing up the steep hill.
He was carrying him up the hill.
Carried him up, yeah.
And soaking wet. Oh, this poor little baby.
Well, but wait, it doesn't stop there. So basically, they wanted to give him a reward, okay?
You saved our dog's life.
Right.
You got him out of the creek.
Right,
He
right.
would have died.
So this guy, this hero, takes the money, and he goes and has a leather company make these classic collars and leashes, like really fancy. And they had a fundraiser. He donated them to the fundraiser, and they raised more money to help dogs at the different centers.
You know what? I see people who are this beautiful and this amazing. Two thoughts go through my head. Number one is like, you are so going to heaven. I mean, hands down. And my second thought is, were you like Hitler in a past life and you're like totally working on the mojo?
Trying to make it up.
Trying to get the karma going. Whichever it is, you are a wonderful man.
All right.
I absolutely love you.
So good for you.
Now explain. Now we're on the subject of dogs. We're going to the...
How are you going to transition this into beer?
It's the Brewdog Hotel.
It's the Brewdog Hotel.
Explain.
This is in Ohio. It's a big brewery in that area, and so what they decided to do, it's all artisan beer, they decided, hey, why not open a hotel? And you can see how big this hotel is. You got a pool. Now, it offers things like beer spas, the treatments. You've got hop-infused face masks, which is all byproduct, by the way. You have the malt barley massage. You've got
shower beer.
Shower beer.
You're kidding me.
No, shower beer.
Wow.
Yeah. And see, everywhere there are spouts. Hot tub, there's a spout.
Made
you
with
can
oak
have more
barrels,
beer.
Used to age beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy's drowning. I don't know if you can see that.
Wow.
So it's got all the different things, and
there's beer on tap in your room.
Did
you see that?
You can oversee the brewery actually making the beer that you're drinking out of the tap in your bedroom. And the good thing is they have 10% off the rehab center right next door.
See, it all works out for everybody then, right?
That's going to work out for everybody.
All right, coming up next, this is absolutely amazing. The concept of muscle memory and virtual reality could have you building your own house. We'll tell you how coming up next.
Merit Medical. Why work for fast food wages when you can start at Merit for a whole lot more? Merit Medical. Great products, great people, a great company. Learn more at merit.com/careers. The law offices of Robert J. DeBry and Associates, with offices in Salt Lake City, Sandy City, and St. George. Check them out at robertdebry.com. Precision Garage Door of Salt Lake City, providing repairs, new garage door installation, as well as openers. Precision Garage Door, locally owned, nationally backed. Give them a call at 888-712-3667.
Good morning, it's Todd and Erin on the daily stream on GephartDaily.com. It's early. Back off. So
No, I just jinxed you by complimenting you by doing it so perfectly at the beginning of the show. So
I have tools. I have a lot of tools. I've got tools and pneumatic tools and all this stuff.
You have all the tools.
I like building things. I like rehabbing things. And so when I hear something new coming to my area, it happens to do with virtual reality.
Well, Lowe's is like porn to you anyway, so this is like the perfect confluence of everything you love. It really is.
Watch this.
Education is empowerment, and people learn by doing. It's just how we are built. And that's why we built the Hollow Room How-To. The Hollow Room How-To is a virtual reality training tool that teaches people how to do DIY projects when they want to learn it. Anything from painting a fence to tiling a bathroom.
You actually are grabbing tiles in water and sponges. It feels like you're actually there doing it. That's very neat.
Is that crazy or not? Is that crazy?
Seriously?
You can actually go in and feel the textures and put on the mastic that you can put the tiles on. They show you painting. They teach you all that.
There was someone doing drywall virtual reality style, and he was like sanding away, and but it was incredible. I mean, their system is so good and so intense.
You actually can see what it's supposed to look like when you do it at home, and there you go. So it's like YouTube Plus.
You know what this is going to do, though? This is now officially going to put all of those little "we'll fix your DIY problems" cable shows.
Right.
It's going to put them all out of business because everyone's going to finally do it really well, and they're like, "We don't need you. It turned out just fine."
Be also funny if instead you put the virtual reality glasses on, but they actually have you do the work on somebody else's house, and then when they take it off.
Why am I so tired?
Why is this house so pretty? Spring is coming up. Spring means boating, and a lot of people got to brush up on their launching skills.
You know, and we're not judging because we've had a lot of friends, like one who launched his boat and he forgot to put the plug in the back, and so it started sinking. That's a problem.
And there's a rule about drinking and being in a boat and steering the boat. I think this will explain some of that issue, because there's a guy.
This is too close. No, stop! Shit! Too close! Too close! Get out! My bin, get out!
I love that she's yelling, "Get out!" Like it's
she's shooing the cruise liner.
Like it's a stray dog in their yard. That was awesome. And you can see them frantically trying to get what engines make you go backwards? Because those are the ones I think they're trying to work on, right? Those things.
But as you can see, way and way and way up on top, you see that's where they steer the boat from. That's a technical term. They must be freaking out because it was like 100 feet. 100 feet from the guys. The dogs like it.
I know, they're having a great time. And you know, all the passengers
They're in
are
trouble.
like, "What? Are we landing here? This isn't the island you promised us.
They are.
Where are the margaritas?"
Oh, you know what that is? That's a 3-hour tour. Right there. That's the USS Minnow, and there's Gilligan. All right.
Okay,
So,
you know, I have actually once been stopped because I was driving too slowly. I was looking for an address. And the police officer stopped me and he said, "You're driving too slow." And I said, "That is
What's
something."
up?
I said, "That is something no officer has ever said to me in my life because of my speeding tickets." But he said, "Have you been drinking, miss?" And I went, "No, I was just looking for a house." And he goes, "Oh, okay, that's fine."
Yeah.
But this does happen to other people, and they have to step out of the car and actually prove something.
So evidently the guy's blinker was out. The cop pulls him over and starts asking the questions.
Actually, though, I want you to know you don't have to.
Actually, guys.
It's going to be awesome.
They just made your night.
You just made my night, man. I got to tell you.
I've actually got some juggling props if you'd rather see that.
Let's see it, man.
But
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
But the only requirement is you have to get a video of me juggling while I've been pulled over.
All right, you got it. You hang on to that. Don't drop it. There's no case. Okay. All right.
You have to get a picture of me juggling.
All right, so he just handed his camera to him.
I'm going to prove I'm sober, and he's actually getting the police officer to record him on his own phone.
And the officer
That's
goes,
epic.
"This is cool.
This is going to be awesome.
This,
oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I've never seen that one before.
You know what this teaches us? Clowns will never get a DUI. That's what it does. That's what this is all about. Hey, everyone, thanks for joining us on the Todd and Erin Morning Stream.
And don't forget, you can catch us anytime, anywhere. We're like Netflix. Just that simple, on demand at GephartDaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page. Everything you saw here today is going to be up there along with every other show. If there's certain videos you want to go back to or share with your friends, it's all there.
I'm going to go learn juggling. Just for safety.
Oh,
just for
that's so
safety.
thoughtful of you.
We'll see you tomorrow. Monday.